Let's see. Oh, let's talk about Russ. Russ actually had a good point here, people. Okay, let's break this down musically. Let's get back into our music bag, because one of y'all sent me a DM, and I was going through my requests, and I felt bad. It was like, we're covering too much court cases, too much gossip, too much drama. We're losing our identity as like music. And I was like, damn, well, there hasn't been a lot of music. So anytime we got a music topic, we got to really lock in. This is a music topic. So Russ, if you don't know, Russ is a rapper, but he's also an outspoken rapper. He's given his opinion about how he thinks rap music has changed in the past 10 years. And he's telling like these stark differences about how he feels people are receiving music. Check this out.
So here's how I think rap music has changed in like the past 10 years, which I'm sure people are amped to hear my opinion on white guy talking about rap. Here we go. So I feel like the message used to be the meal and the sound used to be the seasoning. And now it feels like the sound, the rapper's voice, the flow, the beat, the melody, the delivery, that's the meal, and the message is optional. It's like almost like everything except what's being said is what matters. And, you know, I think streaming obviously changed the stakes. Like we went from ownership where it was exciting to like buy an album. I remember buying the Blueprint 3 and Kid Cudi's debut album the same day in Target. And you listen to the whole album because that is how we consumed music. And then with streaming, it went to blips, moments, moods, just songs, you know, quick skips, adding this to the playlist, not adding this. And so it just became about instant retention, like, and not long-term resonance. And I just feel like we went from being raised on like lyrical excellence, pen first lineage, you know, all the top rappers used to always just like, it was what they were saying. They all had quotables and lyrics that were tattooed on people's bodies, and it was all about what was being said. They all sounded good too. The songs sounded good, but it was very much like a pen first lineage that like I feel like I grew up on. And now I feel like the audience is being raised on vibe curations. Now I'll say this, I get it, because when I listen to other genres, I'll admit, I'm just listening for vibe, mood, feeling, the whole thing. But I think it's nuanced. And not to disrespect other genres, but when I'm listening to other genres, I'm not going into it expecting any sort of poetic density. I do.
Yeah, and I hate to pause him while he's playing that. I've heard that so much about you know, Buju Banton, who's a huge legendary reggae / dancehall artist. He's made that claim about Afro beats. He's like, hey, listen, when we talk about our local music, which is like reggae and dancehall, yeah, we have feel-good music, but it's also about our struggle. Afro beats, primarily, seemingly, the ones that pop off, it's solely about vibes. And kind of like, I feel like a lot of music is about vibes now. It's just about, you know, I seen someone who trying to explain to someone else Cardi. And this was 2.5 years ago. And they were telling the person, because the person couldn't understand why Cardi was like beloved. And they were like, yo, listen, it's not about necessarily what he's saying. It's about like the vibe of what the feeling of the music is given. And the person was kind of like shocked. They were like, what? But that was a good explanation. It's about the energy, the vibe. It's about the creation of that feeling rather than really saying some shit profound, right? Like, I agree with Russ a bit. The words aren't that important. Now, I'm trying to see if this is all throughout the genre, because do we still care about people saying shit? Yes. But I feel like we care about certain people saying shit. Other than that, it's just noise.
Allow the sound to outweigh the substance, because that's just, I guess, like how I'm conditioned to listen to those other genres. Not saying that they don't have poetic density to them and layers and all this stuff, but with rap, or at least the rap that I grew up on, we were conditioned to believe and kind of expect that language was the main instrument. And I know that the inception of rap was like party shit, you know what I mean? It wasn't super deep lyrical miracle stuff, but I'm just talking about the rap that I grew up on. And now, like I said, I just feel like everything except what's being said is what matters most. And it's almost like now, like I just feel for the artists who have something to say, but that the delivery system has muted meaning and amplified the importance of just sound. And so like now you gotta get a little creative with it and understand that you have to use like melody, flow, delivery, all that as like a Trojan horse to sneak in the message instead of leading message first and seasoning it with sound. That's if you want your shit to get heard. If you don't give a fuck about any of that, rock out. But
What he's saying is makes a lot of sense. Jay-Z was one of the first artists that I remember him saying it. He said like, your voice is the instrument, and it's like it's a unique instrument because it differs from person for person. And he would say that when he was trying to come up with like a flow, he would just think of his voice as a instrument to add to the current instruments on the beat. And you know, when you think about Jay-Z, and you ever, if you ever watch him perform, or ever had the luxury to watch him perform, whether live or just perform even on YouTube, you could tell that's how he and a lot of people treated that. Music did change to ad-lib music. And there's a part, like, we could probably like really pinpoint it, but like we would probably have to go back to even like some of the like the Migos shit popping off, where it was just like the beat is already super hot. We just needed some ad libs to, you know, kind of whatever to carry it along. I mean, to what we call swag rapping. Remember, Drake even changed his style, right? Remember, there was a time when Drake used to be like, I'm at the parade, Macy's, and then it felt like Drake was just kind of like, I mean, for all the dogs, a lot of people feel like Drake was swag rapping. Like, it was almost like the beat is hot and you're just adding on to it. Like, you're kind of like a hype man for the beat, but you're curating the vibes and the feeling, not necessarily about what the fuck you were saying. And I do believe music's been there, and there hasn't been that much of a distinction. Of course, you know, I'll give Kendrick some credit. Like, to be honest, I think Kendrick did try to, again, at least for him. You know, I always say, like, the thing with Kendrick stuff is that it's usually only for him. Like, no one else is like, yo, let's go find something else that sounds like Kendrick. No, we only listen to Kendrick. So, like, with Kendrick, we do care about what the fuck he says. I mean, obviously, Drake too, but it's just like, I think this last run for Kendrick was like, you were caring about every line he was saying. But primarily, music has changed in the last 5 years, where even the super lyrical guys started swag rapping it. You know, it wasn't about saying a lot more than just adding on to the beat. And people like Drake, who benefited, and you know, he's like a chameleon in the sense where he could give you bars if you want to, or he could be the guy who's just, he's kind of callous in the beat, except he's just nicer with the mic. Pause. And yeah, I agree with Russ. Shit has changed. Shit has changed. And again, is there like, if you go check out the Clips album, of course that's different. But I'm talking about like the majority of music we're hearing now, right? The majority of music we're gonna hear play, whether in the club or just mainstream or even on the radio, it's really, you know, if I quoted you 3 lines from the second verse, you might be like, huh? But if you heard the beat, you're like, I know what this is. Or you might know the first line of the song, but like, you don't really give a fuck that much about what's actually being said, more than about the vibe it's already creating. Right? You think Fabulous is a pioneer of swag rap? Nah. Like, Fab don't be rapping about shit, but Fab was rapping. Swag rap is just like, it's like the beat's going, you're like, hey, turn up. And then you just kind of say certain shit. It just doesn't, you're just adding on to the beat. You're not doing nothing. At least Fab he's rapping about nothing, but he's rapping. Swag rap to me is like, give me an example of swag rap. Like, swag rap is like, the beat's doing 80% of the job. Yeah, Fab's just a punchline rapper. Like, he's just not rapping about nothing that you could like, yo, the last couple of days I've been listening to like Western Road Flows by Drake, and I was like, damn, yo, I would pay money for Drake to go back to that level of hunger, personableness. That's not even a word, but like, that felt so personal. It had so much message to it. These days, I feel like, you know, it's a lot of fillers. It's a lot of people that have filler bars. you know? Like it's almost like you could tell they're freestyling it, you know? Like you heard the last line and it ended with like it ended with oh these niggas want to stream like Kai. And then the next line, just because it makes sense, fuck around with me, nigga, you know you gonna die. It's just kind of like fillers. You're just kind of riding the beat pause. It's just kind of like, just swag rap. You're just kind of saying a bunch of nothing, more adding on to the beat, not taking control of the beat. Nah, Future is not that. Future leads with melody a lot of times. Future is not that. Like, yeah, like Lil B the bass guy, I would say is kind of like, yeah, Lil B might be the founder of that shit. And Drake has swag rap before. Like, you know, I just think it's popular. Like most of the music we're hearing, you could tell the nigga picked the hot beat and maybe he came up with like a catchy 2 lines for the chorus, but he's just vibing, right? He's just vibing the whole time. Like maybe he has a cool line here or there, but you could tell like his job is, it's like, think about football. Remember how they were talking about Jalen Hurts? It's like, your job is just not to lose the game. We don't want you to win the game. Just don't lose the game. So a lot of niggas are on these beats like, you don't have to do nothing to make it a hit song. Just don't fuck it up. Just kind of ride the beat. Hey. So they start with the ad-libs. Hey. Okay, like whatever. And then they just kind of add a couple other words. Cardi do it a bunch. I ain't gonna lie. Cardi does do that a bunch. Yeah, like Cardi does swag rap a lot. That's a fact. What happened to Ice Spice? She's getting piped out by what's that nigga name? Sauce Gardner. We ain't gonna see Ice Spice until that the NFL season starts, where he can't see her every day. But he's putting dick in that stomach. Facts. All right. Let me see if he got more to say.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely just interesting to see how the shift. It used to, in my opinion, used to just be a better balance of like what was being said was equally as important as how it was being said. Now it just seems like how it's being said, the beat, the flow, the rapper's voice, the delivery, the melody, that just super outweighs what's being said. Like, we don't even give a fuck about what's being said. So I don't know. Just an observation. So here's how I think rap music has changed in like the past 10 years, which I'm sure people are amped to hear my opinion on. White guy talking about rap. Here we go. So I feel like the message used to be.
Yeah, and you know, again, I'm telling y'all this is gonna happen. The thing that distinguishes rap over everything else is that the voice being the main instrument and the power of the message will always be empowering over just a catchy beat and saying nothing. And I hate to use this example, but when you get someone like, I think Kendrick proved it. Of course, there's only one Kendrick, right? But like, we're going to get this new iteration. Yo, Kendrick, Drake, and J. Cole have ran this shit for 15 years. They're old niggas now. Like, I mean, I guess Kendrick is finally getting his moment in the sun, even though I felt like he should have had it before in 2017, but whatever. But these are old niggas. Like, they've been here for 15 years. There's going to have to be like some new artist that's willing to say shit and willing to take it there and willing to engage again, it's easy just to say, oh, this is a hot song. You get to another level where it could be a hot song, but you still challenge the minds of the people listening. This is what's special about rap. And we're still waiting for this next new class. I keep telling you, like, most of these artists, they don't really give a fuck to be, they don't even see it feasible to get to Drake's level or to Kendrick's level or to J. Cole's level. So these niggas ain't really trying. But eventually, at a point, there is going to be an artist or a couple of artists that's going to be their barometer. They want to get there, and they're going to realize you're going to have to make hot, catchy songs. You're going to have to say some shit. You're going to have to be lyrically nice. And, again, bro, we're 15 years in and we're still hearing about the drama. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Part of the issue that a nigga like Drake has, bro, we've listened to his entire life. 15 years of this. Yo, if Drake told us a girl hurt his heart now or like broke his heart, we'd be like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Nigga, this ain't when you were broke no more, nigga. We see you on a jet all the time, nigga. You're fucking 15 girls a week. Fuck out of here. We don't even believe you no more. We've heard every story Drake could tell us. This is why I told you the beef is good for a nigga like Drake, because in real time we see him have to make a comeback, quote unquote comeback, because he's not come back from shit, but it's just that like we see him have to kind of be in the underdog or punch his way out of a corner, and that's real. But like these other cliche stories, you only get to, it's like A Boogie right now. If like A Boogie for the first couple years of his career, yo, he's making the hot, my heart got broken. Bro, A Boogie's been like, he's selling out arenas now. He just did Madison Square Garden like a couple months ago. If everything he was doing was always about heartbreak, you'd be like, yo, bro, we just don't believe it no more, bro. Like, it's just is what it is. You do get to a point with an artist where you've heard every damn thing or every iteration on what they could do, and it's either become the point where you got to grow with them as they go through new challenges, or you're just going to be like, bro, I heard this already. It's like Meek Mill. Meek Mill used to tell us about how he used to be, 4 a.m. on the north side of Philly, round like his haters are trying to get me. It's a shame how they hate on me. It sounded great. I'm like, yo, Meek is about to shoot up the whole Philly, 4 a.m. Bro, after he's been on for 15 years and we realize this nigga is popping, rich as fuck, he's doing good. When he tells us he's rolling through Philly 4 a.m. now, we don't believe it. Like, at a time we did. So what I'm trying to say is that with artists, we're always looking for new content and we want to hear things for the first time. Put it like this. First Day Out by T Grizzly. We never heard this guy. So it was attractive to us to hear this guy who just got out of the penitentiary talking about, niggas hate on it, niggas prayed on my downfall, and he went crazy. Beautiful. But after that, we want to see other things. And this is what I'm saying about like the Drakes, the Kendricks, and even the J. Coles. We need new artists. We need new artists that we're going to be invested for the next 10 years into their life. Think about these new artists that's popping nowadays. Do you give a fuck? Like, these dudes we care about for 1 year. We don't give a... we could track... If you're a J. Cole fan, and I'm not the biggest fan of J. Cole, but I know his whole life story. It's 15 years of us listening to this nigga rap about A, B, C, or D, or E. You know what I mean? Same with Drake. I think we need these new artists to be on that level. And right now, we're in a place where niggas are chasing the bag, and as long as you're getting a little check, you're getting a little $25,000 per show or $30,000 per show, these niggas don't want to be the guys who, like, they're not going for it. They're not checking the boxes. You got to check the boxes. Let's say a Yeet. Yeet, you got a great fan base. But nigga, you got to lyrically get up there. You got to do more than this music that you're doing to try to get other people in your fan base. And this is why sometimes when y'all be like, getting at Drake or even Cole or, Kendrick to some extent, I got to defend him. Why? Because Drake could have made songs like, girl, you my everything. And what's that song up? You the best I ever had. You could have made sing-songy songs all day. You know what he did? He said, no, I'm going to show you niggas I could rap. I'm going to show you I could really rap. Then he said, no, I'm going to show you I could do real R&B. Then he said, I'm going to show you I could do features. He tried to check every box. I feel like new artists these days, they get to one spot of success and they never challenge themselves. That's why they can't get bigger, right? So now we're in this phase where, like, especially where Russ is saying, we're not seeing a lot of diversity, but we're not seeing a lot of diversity because, first of all, there's no lyrical niggas that's kind of like popping, like just off lyricism. It would take the guys who are already popping to show us that they got lyrical prowess. Like, for example, I seen Uzi try to do it for a little bit, but I don't know what happened. And by the way, I'm waiting for Uzi I think Uzi got a big comeback coming. And I don't know what's going on with him personally, but he got to figure it out. But these artists got to, and this is why X was so fucking special. Because X was going to check all the boxes. If it had to be just singing, yes. Cross genre. The nigga could do country. If it just had to be him in a cypher just barring it up, that was him. If it was him supposed to be on some killer shit, yes. If it was him to be on some emo shit, yes. If it was him to be on some heartbreak shit, I love women shit, yes. We need artists like that. That's gonna be the next superstars, and that's why rest in peace to X-Men. We got robbed of a superstar. Obviously Juice WRLD as well, but we're looking for those type of artists who are not just like, you know what I mean? Like, this is why I can't compare many artists to like X, and I hold him in such a high regard because he never did just one thing. He did 10 things at a high level. He was 99 doing 10 things. He was 99 in rapping, 99 in like creativity and this eclectic type of music. Nigga was playing the guitar. The nigga was doing everything, bro. We gotta find an artist like that. Unfortunately, I don't think the current landscape lends to encourage artists to do that because they get a back. Like, yo, most of these niggas, like, once they're getting $70,000 to go perform at Rolling Loud, they're like, why do I need to go step out of my comfort zone? I'm getting paid $70,000 for this festival. I could go get 40,000 by myself. Why do I need to keep pushing the, you know? So, anyway, too much ranting. Yeah, Corday was in that box for a minute. Man. I'm not gonna cap with you. Corday was in that box definitely for a minute. Oh man. All right. Okay. Somebody said, rest in peace, Keed. Yeah, Lil Keed was dope. I'm not gonna cap with you. Fuck with Keed, man. I'm cooking today. Yeah, I ain't talked to y'all in a minute, man. All right. Okay, cool.